Hello YouTubers, I'm up in my office and going to show you my update for my spring April garden tour, and I'm going to show you some new seedlings that I started, second round of seedlings, really good healthy round of seedlings. The first one I moved out into my greenhouse and it seems to be holding enough of a warm temperature to keep even the tomatoes and peppers alive, so I'm pretty excited about that. And I wanted to show you the last of my baby chickens before they all grow up big and start getting incorporated with each other, and then slowly in with my big chicken flock. So there's only 4 babies left in the house, and they have to have the little top on them because they can now try to fly, little jump and fly. There's 2 olive eggers and 2 speckled Sussex left in here. And I do think I ended up with a male in my other ones, in my other batch of, you can't see them very good. For a colored egg basket, and what I did is I got 2 of each kind so that I could for sure get females and for sure get the color of eggs I wanted. And I have people lined up to take the babies, the young hens, when they're grown up if it doesn't work. So here is second round of planting. I went ahead and started a second batch of melons. So these are, actually these are the melons. Cantaloupe, banana melon, Kajari, what is that one? A green melon, Dixie Queen, and another one. And then these ones are all peppers, the sweet peppers. I didn't put any hot peppers in here because I felt like I had enough hot peppers. My geraniums that I started from seeds are perked up and doing pretty good. Oh look, these are like a lantern, a Spanish floss little lantern plant. I don't know, they look kind of neat. Got some oregano and cumin. I haven't grown my own cumin before. Sometimes I wonder if the herbs are going to be okay, if they're going to be super invasive or not. Bee balm and bells of Ireland, which are just annual, and bee. I'm actually going to do bees in a couple of years, maybe next spring if I can get around to it. And so I'm planning on continuing to update that. Here we got some radicchio. I'm looking forward to trying that. Never even tried it before. Columbine, milkweeds, which is a butterfly and bee food. And of course, look at my vines. I think that they're growing pretty good. I actually see little flower heads coming on some of them, which obviously they're way early, but I actually don't care if I plant plants early, if they're too early, because I just so love seeing them break through the surface and be green this time of year. It's so nice to have life happening, even if it's not quite ready outside. So somebody on YouTube, multiple people recommended putting cinnamon on the surface of your soil, and then putting out a thing of apple cider vinegar with Dawn dishwashing liquid in it to help with the little gnats. And you can actually see little dead gnats in there. So it has been very effective and a very appreciated tip. So now I will show you the things that are springing this spring in Oregon, Zone 8B. And I'll show you my greenhouse, and then I'm going to show you my garden. And then my next video is going to be a reality check for if there's actually weeds in a no-dig back to Eden style garden. There is some, but I want to show the honest truth of it. Super rainy out here, and I'm actually going to plant some stuff later, but I have to get changed. Right now my kids are getting ready to go to their prom nights. I got a couple kids that are preparing for that, and then once they're off and sent, then I can grubby up and get on my farmer girl clothes, where I resemble an Idaho baked potato. Nice and ugly, but ready to get dirty. So I'm ready to get my hands dirty, even though it's getting to be the evening out here. I can get a lot done in an hour or 2 out here, and I got some plants to plant that I'll show you that were given to me, which is always fun. But I have a couple of goals this year, and one of my goals is last year I wanted as many flowers as I could, so I could cut as many bouquets and put them in my house as I wanted to, and still actually have flowers outside. And this year, more of the same, except I want the variety. So last year I had a ton of roses and zinnias and dahlias, and this year I want to add in a lot of other flowers. So you'll see a lot of those flowers started in the greenhouse. But the other thing I really want to do is I want to do a container garden on my back patio of flowers and beauty and have it just be spilling over. I tried to do that last year and I got I got bark dust instead of compost, so it had no organic matter in it, so there was no fertility. And then I also started everything from really tiny, and so then it didn't grow in that stuff. So a lot of that stuff wintered over. So I'm going to show you the basis of my container garden so that you guys can track with me. The other thing I'm going to do this year is start my own hanging baskets, and it might take a while to get them established before they're beautiful, and I won't have a watering system until that comes along down the road this summer, if this summer at all. So but I got the stuff so I can remake them, because around here a good hanging basket that's beautiful is like $25 to $35, and I can start the plants from seed. And you know, I got the hanging baskets on a super sale. They were like $6.50 a piece. So I went for it, and so I think for the cost of a really expensive one basket or two cheap baskets, I'm going to be able to actually create my own. And so I'll show you the fixings for that are in my greenhouse over there too. Take a look at the green grass. We did aerate this year, and I want to record the changes. It's obviously that beautiful spring electric green, but we're starting to see some of the young seed grass growing in and everything kind of taking off and being a little healthy. So the test will be this summer when the heat is on, to see if it actually is better off than it was in years past. So, container gardens, let's check them out. Station number 1, back patio. This is a rhubarb I started last year, and somebody told me once that if you listen really quiet, you can actually hear a rhubarb plant grow because they grow so fast, which I think would be totally cool, but I am not patient enough to sit and listen for that. Or too easily distracted. These are snapdragons and Dusty Miller that seeded over. I got my little nasturtiums out here. They took a little bit of a hit in the transition, but they're getting started. This is spearmint, and oh, wish you had smell-o-vision. And I think this is one of those daisies. I can't remember, those decorator daisies. And these little guys in here are actually going to be snapdragons too, so I left them alone. And then over here, same thing, snapdragons. Look how beautiful they are. And then I got a poppy coming up here, and I think the word looks kind of like azalea, but it's not an azalea. It's like not an actual azalea. It's an annual. And same thing, snapdragon, Dusty Miller. And this is actually a petunia that weathered over. I had a huge pot of very root-bound hostas that I divided, and so there's one, and you'll see some more. And I started to get my nasturtium set up with this. Once I get past my last frost date, I'll throw some more in there, and I'm looking forward to it. And this, do I have anybody out here who is happily nerdy bird people? Because look at this station. I love my nerdy bird station. So my husband stacked those for me, and so I have a feeding area there, one in the swing, that one against the tree over there. It's hard to know where to point here. And so what I'm doing is, before I had all of this area was just like raked. I had a garden here in this part, but then you can see where the rocks start here. On the other side of the rocks was just like not used. And part of the reason I wouldn't use it is because you have to weed anything you decide to make a flower bed. And so with my back to Eden style and the mulch system, I am finding that it's easier to weed if you have to weed, and it's worth taking over more area for actual flowers. So you can see back here that I have some mums, and that's not bleeding heart, there's another name for that, and some daffodil bulbs, and there's actually a hosta plant back there. And I have some phlox, some white phlox with pink centers that are gonna, you'll see around front, that I have, that the neighbor gave me, that I'm gonna plant here. I have a wisteria that I'm gonna grow along the fence, and I might even put a climbing rose back here. All kinds of fun stuff. And this leads to where we go for a walk every day. There's a creek access there, but then it wraps around and walks out. So I decided to put this little flower bed here, and I planted seeds in there, lupine seeds and delphinium seeds, and I didn't have very much luck with those coming up. I think slugs get them before I get there. Slugs are my #1 enemy. And then here are my other container gardens right here. They line the back patio. Let me show you what's in there real quick. So the fun part is that I have my sweet peas that I actually are starting to come up and take hold. And this is the decorative kale plants, flowering kale, which I started from seed. And these are going to be poppies. So it's really fun. Oh, and I got the nasturtiums from seed coming up in here. So mix that with your flowering kale and the snapdragons that have carried over from one year to the next. A little bit of sedum plants growing in here. Same things in there. Oh, I'm just so excited because last year it took forever to get them to go, and here we are with some starts, and I haven't even I haven't even gotten going very good yet. So I can't remember the name of this, if anybody can remember. I started this last year, so this is one of those rewards. Oh, and here's a weed. We should probably pull that out. Got a big daffodil or a dandelion weed there. This is the bleeding heart that's coming back up. And I know I planted these. These are those little tiny, oh look, there's gonna be a flower right here. Yay, this one's got one too. Ugh, is there anything better than finding things that grow from seed? And we got hollyhocks, daffodils. I wanna call those hyacinths, but I don't think they're hyacinth. They're a different kind of bulb, so I'll have to look at it. Those are hydrangea mixed in there. This, I have never been able to get stuff to grow in there because it was dirt and not soil. So I have been adding the bark chips to the top, and I can actually already tell that there's organic matter from the happy worms underneath there. So I definitely need to add in. See how the moles have dug and exposed the dirt because this isn't very thick? I definitely need to come in and thicken that out with the bark chips if I'm going to be successful keeping the weeds at bay. But we'll talk weeds in the next video because there are some. See, look, bark chips got the weeds in there, but they come up so easy. It's not a big deal at all. There's just no effort, and I'll definitely have to thicken the mulch back out here, but so easy, so easy. Can't wait to show you. So these broccoli, what's the fancy Francescan? I want to say Francescan purple broccoli, but it was so stunted from slug baits. I can't even hardly believe I got the fruit on here, so I've kind of left it to itself. Here's another one of those plants that I can't remember the name of. I'll have to look it up and tell it later. We got strawberries and mint and the big, huge flowering garlic, like aluminiums. I never get that word right. Some garlic and some leeks that I carried over from last year. And this is where my pumpkin patch was last year. And we have a mulch pile, which I'll probably turn. And I got all kinds of plans we get to plant in here, but it's time for the greenhouse tour. Okay, the greenhouse is the best. And I think one of my favorite things about the greenhouse is the fact that even in the cold days, it's several degrees warmer in here. And on the slightly sunny days when it's 60 and 65 outside, it's 80 degrees in here, and there's nothing better than getting that sneak peek at summertime weather when you're really hungry for it, because you know when we get it all the time, then we just want the cold air. Not me, I'm a sunshine girl, but all of that, and then that smell. There's a smell to a greenhouse. It's this musty growing life, yum. And so I am going to show you all kinds of stuff. A lot of my upstairs stuff that I started kind of early is beastly, and I've planted a few things out because I want to risk with a few things, but I don't want to risk, because I'm still shy of my last frost date. So next year I'm going to try to make myself wait like 2 more weeks before I start planting, but probably won't succeed because I have the patience of a gnat. Anybody else have the patience of a gnat? And that's the best part of gardening. It's a practice of patience, but you can plant so many things that you don't really have to be patient, because while you're waiting for one thing to show up and you're frustrated, something else is growing. So let me show you. Look at this. Here is some spring potatoes or winter potatoes. I'm so excited. These are the red potatoes. Look how much they've grown. I swear they just take off. They look like this one day and then you come back and they're just huge. So I am so excited. I could probably harvest these little lettuce or mustards or whatever they accidentally got planted in there. I think I had a chipmunk get in here and move some seeds around. This is carrot, and I'm very happy with that. I have a battle going on with carrots, but we'll talk about that in another video. So these are beets and bok choy and radishes and broccolis and lettuce, different kinds of lettuce, and mustard. That's mustard over there. I have it all marked. So different kinds of bok choys And then my snap peas coming up on the back, which will probably eventually block the view here. And then these are the mustard greens, which I need to harvest. I need to come out here and actually get some. They're taken off. And then radishes. Look, the radishes. These are the French breakfast and cherry bell ones, which is so exciting when you actually see the little fruit forming under there. It's actually kind of fun. And then spinach planted in a too shallow of a tray. I just wanted to see if it would go. And then these are arugula, and the same thing. They're gonna bolt because their root systems aren't deep enough, but I should clip them off as microgreens and go from there. These were what I planted upstairs. So this is a tomatillo, which I've actually cut back a lot of this stuff so that it will keep strengthening and growing. I got several tomato bushes that are starting to get way too big, so when I plant them I'll be burying them down in deep. And then zinnias, which I've headed off so that they'll split and grow and thicken out, which I've started to plant. There's some peppers, but you can see they're starting to show the signs of, what the heck are you doing, lady? You have me in here too soon. See, look, the bell peppers are actually trying to, or the different peppers are trying to seed out. So I might have some catch up to do when things adapt. These are, is that okra? What is that? Is that the tomatillos again? No, ground cherries. Oh, that's why I don't recognize it, because I'm still new at it. But see, the ground cherries are trying to flower up again too. So I have to, 2 weeks. I got 2 weeks to put everything out, wait for the sun to come, and hopefully we can catch up with all of this crazy that I'm doing. These are eggplants, which I do have to plant early here or else I don't get fruit from them. Poppies and flowers and basil, which is lovely. I got those mint plants started to, I have a little plant stand at the end of my road. I'll have to give you guys an update on that. The basil, this is the cinnamon basil, and it is so lovely. I've been having it on my sandwiches. We got verbena and more peppers and some parsley back in there, and lavender. Yep, lavender. These are lavender starts. And these are snapdragons that are going to fill that in. And black ninja hollyhocks, marigolds. These are these little Livingston daisies, which they look weird to me. I don't know if they're supposed to look like that. They look funny. And petunias, something glossus. I'm going to butcher the names of these. Several flowers, cut flowers, that's my goal. So these are propagation attempts on fig trees, blueberries, butterfly bushes, 2 different colors, lilac, and snowball bush. So we'll see how that goes. And this was my cold frame. This worked pretty good, you guys. So this was a blanket, and I planted all those in there. And again, they're just holding on. I could plant the violets out. I could plant what do we got here? I don't remember. I'll have to look at them up a little closer and see. I think some of these plants are probably, this is the amaranth and salvia. So these things are probably ready to go. Some of those I'm going to actually use in the hanging baskets. And looky, more stuff. There's my hanging baskets. There's the bags of dirt. So we are close, close, close. And these are all petunias that not only did I start from seed, there's some down back there hiding too. Not only did I start them from seed, but I actually harvested the seeds off of my petunias from last year. So it's free. So these petunias are all going to be free. Yay, yay. And hopefully I get a variety of color. Squashes that are starting to come up. Marigold, delicata squash, cilantro, parsley, butterfly weed. Look at these. I don't know if sunflowers transplant very well. I'm going to give it a shot. And we got the beginnings of cucumbers. I started a sedum here, strawberry. This is Daphne. If I could get a start off my Daphne bush. I actually went for a run down to the end of the road and I picked the Daphne bloom from my neighbor's property just to smell it while I was running. And then I turned it into a propagated start. So we'll see if I get that. Nasturtiums, zucchinis. Look at these babies put out life here. Lemon cucumbers. So I guess I just have a couple weeks to wait. More baby ground cherries if we see. These tomatoes don't look like they maybe, they're looking pretty rough on top here. alyssum and zinnias. These zinnias have a story, but I'm going to tell that story on a different video. And these are sunflowers. My lobelia never got any bigger than this. What the heck is that? It's been that size for a long time. We got celery and chamomile, which is already blooming, which tells me the soil probably stunted them a little bit. But look I got a flower on this sedum. Look at that, isn't that so pretty? I just think that's cool. And these are strawberries, which they also have a story. Marigolds, straw flowers, butterfly bush propagation, lavender that I'm trying to propagate, but I don't think it's gonna work. And these are like all blown to seed too, but you know, these little pretty I think those are Johnny jump ups maybe, but they're so pretty and they're all just so tiny. And then we got strawberries and scarlet runner beans and potatoes. Look at these ones. These are the white potatoes. They were later coming up than the other ones, but they are going to do just fine. And they got frozen. My whole thing froze out here a couple times with it. And then we got peas. You know what though? I'm not sure if I planted both. I think I just did snap peas in these. Look at the slug bait actually molds out. Isn't that weird? And there's a rose down there. I got a goji ginger in that bucket, and then gojis here, and they're actually coming up. Look at these little goji plants. They're there. If I can get them to grow and be alive, so we'll see. All kinds of adventure. So what will this look like when it's all put out in my yard? Won't it be gorgeous? And back in the back there's some, that's an apple tree and a nectarine tree, so we'll see. Started from scratch, and I actually overwintered 2 out of 3 fuchsia starts. So that's what these are, is fuchsias that I started from starts. So yay, that'll be pretty. Amaranth, I don't know if this will fill out and overflow or what, but I'm hopeful. It's pouring down rain, but if a girl in Oregon waits for it not to rain to make a video on YouTube, she ain't never gonna make a video on YouTube. I think we got the UK beat for rainfall. But when it's cloud cover like this and it's not terribly cold out here, 50s and 60s, it's basically like a giant greenhouse. And everything is turning beautiful and growing. And I'm gonna show you my garden. And we're looking for seedlings this time. I will take you around and show you something else in a couple of days, but maybe even later today. Maybe I'll make the video tonight in the pouring rain. But here we go. Signs of life. Here is the herb section. I did lose my parsley. It didn't go overnight or over the year, but I have my rosemary and sage and oregano and thyme. That's the thyme right there. That's oregano. There's a hollyhock. And then I planted spinach there, and I planted some more of the bok choys there. This is a weed, and this is a weed. And I just thought you would like to see my weeds as well. And these are leeks, and these are shallots. Yay! And I am going in a battle with carrots, and there's some carrot seeds that are blooming that the slugs have not eaten, which you should all be doing a jump up and happy dance for me. I did parsnips in here. I don't know what a parsnip looks like when it comes up yet, so I know this is a weed because these are a tree seedling that have decided to plant everywhere, so I've been pulling those out everywhere. But I can't tell. I don't think this is anything, and I don't think that's anything, but this might be. It's kind of looking like it wants to come up. So we're just waiting on that. But the turnips, looky. I don't even know if I like turnips. That's one of the things I've enjoyed about gardening this last couple years, is actually planting stuff and getting it to grow and do new things. So this is a brassica bed. So you can see all these. There are broccolis and kales and cabbages and all different stuff. Looking forward to that. This was a carrot section, and very few of them have come up so far, but there's a few. So we'll see how they do. This is what it looks like every year when I rototilled. My whole garden would look like this. So those are leftover mustard greens and a bunch of cute little weeds, but weeds nonetheless. And my husband would actually, this stuff would be grown up really high before we even start the year. So I will definitely be out here weeding this little section, but this little section didn't have any top dressing on it. So it was exposed soil trying to cover itself. But here I have baby carrots coming. I got all the different colors of carrots because I'm in denial with not having grown a single carrot successfully last year that wasn't bigger than this. So I'm aiming for success. Those are sweet peas, and there should be more coming up here and in here and on the other side too, and different kinds. And I saw when I was looking closer over there, I planted some more, and I saw some of them coming up. So I believe they'll be coming up. And today I noticed my beets are baby beets. Baby beets. Doot, 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 doot. Baby beets. Doot, doot. There you go. And these are garlic, and the big garlics, the elephant garlics. Those are garlics there. We have some cabbages, I believe, in here. Spinach starting to take off down there. Made it past the slugs. This is success, people. Success. Bok choys, again, these are ones I tried to put the seedlings out here, and I put them in my greenhouse at the same time to see who fared better. Learning a little bit. I stuck some meaty radish, the big meaty radish seeds in the end there, and they're starting to come up. These ones were consumed by slugs, and when I actually put the slug bait around, they actually started to come back alive. So I'm not sure if they're actually going to give me a full-fed beet or not, because they were eaten down pretty good. So I got baby leeks in here, but where I open the dirt to get the leeks to grow, then in comes the weeds. There's something to this covered garden thing. So we got radishes here, which I did my first batch of roasted radishes, and I am a fan. It was awesome. I really appreciated it. Oh, we got carrots, different kind of carrot, and this one is fennel. Oh, look, I see one. Look at that. Fennel baby. Woohoo! Yes. Did you see the excitement in my voice there? Artichokes. One lone red beet from last year. My chair finally bit the dust and collapsed. My carrot bin that never really was successful is growing weeds. And the yellow chard is actually ready to start being harvested on again. Looks kind of good. I should make a salad tonight. And this was another exposed area. This is what the weeds would look like regular, but this is planted on purpose. These are different kinds of salads, and maybe some, I think I had 2 different kinds of salad, winter kind of salad. So yes, all kinds of loveliness. My chives look beautiful. And now I will probably show you some of the other beautiful things. I am so excited about my food forest. What's a girl to do? So the rabbits are doing great. They're in I took a dog kennel pen and wrapped it with wire so that I can travel them across my grass so they get fresh grass all the time. So they're doing great. I cover it from the rain so they don't get, their food doesn't get wet and their bed doesn't get wet. And these white tubs have potatoes in them, and the potatoes are coming up, which I love. And the goal is to create a living privacy hedge here, and I got a long ways to go to cover up the neighbor's mess. But one of the things that I did was put in some fun things that are growing. Hyacinth bulbs. Ooh, look at this. I got this in the last video when I took the tour up with Kate Breslin. On the train, we stopped at the guy who had the dovecote pigeon place, and his son was a master gardener. And he gave me this black grass that you can see here. I don't know if you can see it there. This stuff right here. And he gave me this. Look at that. That's beautiful, huh? It looks like a different variation of a primrose, which I don't see them usually hang down, but that'll be fun to watch come up. So I also got some euphorbia over here, and euphorbias have a story for me too, and I'm going to make a different video with some stories in it. But here's the euphorbia that I got planted in there. Looking lovely. Oh. My messages are going off like crazy, so hopefully that doesn't block in real video. I can't remember. So I wanted to give you guys an update on my roses because girl likes to flower. That's part of the potager. I planted all of those roses over here. I have one that I'm gonna have to leave here. I'm not sure if it's actually gonna go, but all the other ones have happy signs of life. Happy, 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 happy. This one's the only one that I'm not sure. And actually, it's not the one that I didn't think would make it. I didn't think that one would make it. I cut it off. And this is the one that's struggling. So we'll see. I'll probably have to add some more bark chips around them. I called the bark chip guy. We get more bark chips. And it will be me that unloads them because the hubby had to have a tune-up surgery on a hernia. So no lifting and shoveling for him for a while. So it'll be me that gets my exercise that way. But I'm so pleased. This is the first year of the food forest. So you can see behind me that the bark chips only go a certain ways back, and we're just getting started. But it is so fun to come out here and see leaves on the trees and leftover blooms from where I'm going to have fruit. I can't even believe it. I'm gonna have my own peaches. I'm gonna have some apricots, and I'm gonna have some pears. And assuming that we're successful, isn't that just so fun? I can't even tell you. And these are obviously really tiny, but you gotta see, this is a currant, a red currant right there. And over here is the gooseberry, which looks like it's gonna do just fine. Looking forward to tasting those. And then over here, barely any green signs of life, but they're there, is the goji berry, which I hear mixed reviews with how they taste. Do you guys like goji berries? So much fun. There's a apple tree back over there, and this is my apricot tree, which none of that. Last year, none of that. And my thing is, yes, I want my family to eat more healthy, but we have 5 kids, teenagers. One of them, all of them play sports. They eat like maniacs. So do I. So does my husband. And so the idea is to grow the things that we would want to purchase, but they're just too expensive. So usually we purchase enough to have a sampling, and that's not enough. But look what I put in. See this? This is for strawberries. And one of the things I really like is watching my kids slowly get interested and involved. And my second oldest son, he's 20 and he's trying to be a fireman, going to school and working. He's a rod buster, rebar packer, working hard. He surprised me with some strawberry roots plants, and so I'm actually gonna plant that with the ones that he gave me here and kind of make it sentimental, you know. And they're jumping in on the mom's crazy train. Look, I got some cardboard for the walkway to suppress weeds underneath the bark chips when they come. And I got myself an old wicker chair that I'm gonna paint and put out here to make a potager area, you know, because they said that the whole point is to be able to sit and reflect on the beauty of it. We will be thinning a bunch more of these trees so I can get more light, because the choke cherries are just wild. And down here in a couple years, next year maybe, I'm gonna get bees. My dad's done bees before, and my grandpa raised bees all the time when he was alive, and so I'm gonna do bees as part of my food forest adventure. So that'll be coming in a year from now. Patience, right? Gardens are a work of patience, and you gotta be willing to get a little wet, get a little dirty, and try on something new. I actually have been making friends with a neighbor that I hadn't met before I started my Back to Eden garden last year, and she has an amazing garden. Maybe this summer I'll get a little tour on here of it. But she was cutting down the size of her phlox plants, and so I got enough for me, and I have a group of garden girls that I've been making friends with. They're a bunch of young moms with a bunch of little kids. You've probably seen some of them show up in the little kid videos with the chicks and the bunnies, and I've been just sharing the wealth, so to speak. So here's what they look like. Is it dinner time, Salty? There you go, nothing too exciting. I got to go to the beach the last couple of weeks with my bestie, my mom, and two of my daughters. And we went to a garden center that had all kinds of cool stuff, including these cool ornamental balls. And my son, that's a fireman that gave me the strawberry bushes, got his first opportunity to train inside a live fire, which was quite different for this mama heart. And then here's the prom pictures. My daughter's the one in the middle, and this is my son, Mark. And then my oldest son he's about ready to graduate college. He had a little fancy pants thing too. And then we had trilliums bloom and so much rain. Crazy. Look how high it is.